Give him a hey yeah. All right. What's this? This is a Walmart commercial, and it's happened a couple times in the past. What's being said?
They claim to save us money.
They do. Well, do they?
I don't know.
Yes, they do. Walmart saves the average American family. How do they do this? Rob.
Forcing other companies to lower the prices because theirs are so low.
Okay, the competition. Did you catch that? No matter where they shop. Did they confuse anybody? How can Walmart save us money or make the claim they're saving us money, even if you're not shopping there? And Rob has nailed the economic model. Now, wait a minute now. Suppose I start deciding to sell my vegetables in my backyard this summer, and I'm going to sell them to you 50 cents a zucchini, when even Walmart selling them for a buck a pound. 2 quarters, you can take a zucchini, go home, it's all organic, homegrown, delicious. You think I could make a claim like that at the end of the summer?
No.
So how can Walmart make that claim?
Buying power?
Buying power. What's that directly tied to?
Supply and demand.
What's that directly tied to? How many of you have heard of Walmart? How many of you have ever heard of the Rural Family Wild Backyard Kingdom Garden? Why have you heard of Walmart?
Advertising.
They're huge. They have advertising budget because they're huge. They're absolutely huge. Now, what was interesting was, I was looking over at this, independent research message from Global Insight. So I make a note of that, Global Insight. Okay, I'm gonna go look that up later. Saves the average American family $3,100. Now notice that changed, $2,500, and then it was $2,800, $3,100. I forget which year came first. This one I believe was 06. That's 07. I think this might have been 08. I can't remember. But I decided to check into it. Where did they get these numbers from? So I went and found the document. There it is. I found the document that was referenced at least in that one footnote, this Global Insight, the price impact of Walmart, an update through 2006. So go ahead and take a look at it. I didn't give you the whole thing. The whole thing's about 30 pages long. And by all means, you can Google it and find it too. It's posted online. But here's the part that I found interesting. Go ahead and read that little bit if you can. Hopefully you guys close to the front can read it okay. So Rob, yours was one of those 3 points. What Rob said, he forces the competitors to lower their prices, is point 3. Third, its lower prices have pressured its competitors to adopt more efficient processes. The other 2 points up there are utilized by many large volume, like Costco is a good example of that too. I mean, how many of you guys shop at Costco? Yeah, the Costco rule. Two individual liters of soda will cost more than 1 2-liter of soda. Most of it's packaging and transport and things like that. There are all kinds of little variables that go into. I remember years ago, I found a recipe online for Oreos. And I said, I'm gonna make my own Oreos, see how they come out. And I bought a package of Oreos at the store. It was like $3 or $3.50 or something. I made my own Oreos, same number of Oreos that I bought at the store. It cost like $25 to make like a pack of 30 Oreos. And Max went ape for me. He's like, these are freaking awesome. I'm like, they do taste like food. They didn't taste like cardboard. But the difference is just the mass production quantity. I mean, it's Henry Ford figured out the assembly line for making cars, and you can basically apply it to a lot of products. So the sophisticated logistics is an understatement. These guys pack their trucks to mathematical algorithms. It's amazing. Like they pack certain things with certain other things to make sure everything packs in minimally, maximizes minimizes fuel consumption, maximizes NPG. Walmart's integrated purchasing system and its sheer size, and that really is a monster that feeds itself. And I'm not saying monster judgmentally. I mean, the larger you get, the more that number 2 kicks in, and the larger number 3 kicks in for that matter. And I knew all this already. I mean, we all knew this about Walmart. They're huge. It's one of the reasons they can exist the way they do. But this is what I didn't know. I was like, how can you make the claim that Walmart is impacting prices, even if you're not shopping there? Well, that means that Walmart has a systemic effect on the CPI, on prices. So this report targets it. It said, okay, the CPI is made up of 3 areas: durable goods, non-durable goods, and services. That's what they say. I believe them because I'm an economical idiot. So, durable goods. What is a durable good? Give me an example of one.
Something you use for a long time.
Yeah, like my pants or my shoes that I never wear. Yeah, so clothing is an example of a durable good. What else?
Toys.
Toys, cars,
Electronics.
electronics, right? Good. Although I noticed the durability of electronics is, I still have a set of headphones from my yellow Sony Walkman in the 80s that still work. I have gone through I don't know how many pairs of earbuds since 1998. Unbelievable how the quality has changed anyway. But anyway, yes, so things like that. How about a non-durable good? Food, good vote. What else? Medicine. Oh, good, very good. That's a humongous industry. Thank you for medicine, whoever said that. What else?
Papers.
Toiletries, toothpaste, things like that. Papers, have I heard?
Diapers.
Oh, diapers, exactly. Toiletries, we call toiletries in the most basic of senses. Yes, good. Although you can get, if anybody can do this, if you're planning on having a child, not disposable, cloth diapers, phenomenal ways to make them durable goods. And then when the kid grows out of it, you use them as rags, which is great. Bleach them out real good, use them as rags. We're still using them 6 years later for all the oil changes and everything else. So, anyway. And then services. And Global Insight's point is that Walmart can only affect these two things. Which makes sense, because services, things like rents and utilities and whatnot are outside the scope of what Walmart can control. At least unless Walmart were the Antichrist and was controlling everything. But they're not. But if they're going to make a contribution, it would be to what they actually contribute to the economy as a store. So I kept digging. Into their report, and I thought this was interesting. What they did was they had I don't know how many cities this is, 30 or so. Metro areas: San Diego, Boston, New York, Seattle, Portland's in here somewhere. There it is. And it'd be big, major. When you think about America, the cities you tend to think of. And then some other ones like Anchorage is in there for good measure, I think. Is Honolulu in here? Yeah, Honolulu's in there. So you got the non-contiguous U.S. And this is all that were included. And what I found interesting was this is Walmart's contributions. This essentially mirrors, if you will, what that last statement said. If you look at the contributions from services and from commodities being those goods, it's a little teeny tiny bar on the overall contribution. So the individual CPIs, 2.5, 3, they're ranked going in increasing order as you go up. A little teeny tiny part of each of those CPIs is commodities. So again, it's echoing that bit. It's echoing that bit about these commodities make up a small part of the CPI. Which makes me question Walmart's claim right away that they are the ones that are saving people money. It could just be the situation saving people money if the CPI is falling. You see what I'm getting at there? So, but I said, okay, I haven't found anything out. Let's keep looking. I want some kind of a data point that shows me that Walmart's presence is actually driving the CPI down. So what they did was they gave it to me. They said, here, this is growth in the CPI, Consumer Price Index. So in other words, the further that way you go, the more things cost. The further this way you go, the least things cost. I mean, at the very basic, that's the way somebody explained it to me once, and thank God it made sense. That's about all I understand about the CPI. And then here, you've got the change in Walmart square footage per capita. I'm not exactly sure what the unit is on that, if it's square feet, if it's thousands of square feet, if it's hundreds of thousands of square feet, I'm not sure. I'm not real sure. But each of those data points, oh, it's just square footage. That doesn't seem right. I think it's going to be, it doesn't matter. From 85 to 2006, so over a couple decades. Each of those data points is a city on that previous list, and it's a city on that previous list with its CPI and the increase in Walmart's square footage. Now they very helpfully put a line on that for you. What does that line help you visualize? What does that line help you visualize? Go ahead.
Average.
Good. It's your best fit line. Look at 105 back in the day. Yes, it's the best fit line. So what's the implication of that line?
The larger the store is, the less you're going to pay.
That's what I'm seeing. Now, first of all, I want to make a caveat that I'm not even sure that line should be there. But assuming that line should be there, and it's statistically meaningfully significant, FYI, it's not. It's just so you know, I checked it. But since it's there, what it does tell us is that the larger the store, the lower the CPI. Fair? Larger the store, lower the CPI. Smaller the store, higher the CPI. That's what it's saying. So there's Walmart's claim. The more Walmarts, the lower the CPI. Is there any problem with that claim? Is there any teeny tiny problem with that claim? Any teeny tiny problem at all with that claim? Other than the fact that San Diego is spelled wrong. Well, that's fine, I guess. Santiago. Is there any problem with the claim that Walmart is saving the average American family $1,300 a year based on that graph?
It doesn't take into account anything else that's going on outside.
Higher ice cream sales cause crime. Remember that from the first day? Exactly 1 week ago today, you sat in this room and I showed you a correlatable event. As ice cream sales go up, so do crime rates. And you all got trouble. Of course not. Well, of course, they do go up, but they don't cause each other. So what other variable is maybe being kind of glossed over here, that maybe we're not being measured? We're only measuring 2 variables, square footage and CPI. What other variables are there?
More
Other
things
options.
to choose from,
Say that again.
Other options.
Other store options? For example, notice that Boston and San Diego, they've identified them as kind of the outliers.
Yeah.
It's also 2 of the most expensive urban centers in the country. Okay? Notice how they correlate to a low growth in Walmart. Imagine trying to put a Walmart into Boston. Everybody been to Boston? Freaking rad town. But there is no room to put a Walmart there. I mean, it's a 200, 300-year-old city. It's a very interesting city. As a matter of fact, if you ever get a chance to go there, don't drive. Take public transit. No, seriously. They didn't bother putting a grid network down for the roads like every other major city in America. They just tarred over the horse trails. So all the roads go off at crazy angles. Driving there is a nightmare. Putting a Walmart there would be impossible, essentially. And this is what we're seeing. It's essentially to find little corners of the outlying areas to put them in. So who's to say that the CPI is caused by a lack of Walmart, or just the fact that Boston's expensive and San Diego are expensive, or Anchorage?
Yeah.
Anchorage in general is going to be like, you're from Alaska, right, Sarah? Somebody over here was from Alaska. I was picking up. Right, exactly. Compared to Boston, what's the CPI in Anchorage? Cheaper? Oh, you've been to Boston, so we haven't had a comparison.
I have been to Boston.
You have?
Anchorage is actually fairly expensive.
Compared to Boston. You haven't been to Boston, though.
Probably not compared to Boston.
That's the
in
thing.
general.
I have to compare it to these data points, because these are the data points I have in front of me to compare them to. My point is this. Walmart can't look at this graph and say, tell me your name again? Anthony. What Anthony said was, and you said it correctly based on this line, the more Walmart, the lower CPI. That might be a correlation, but it is hardly a causation. Just because it's happening at the same time doesn't mean one is causing the other. You could just as easily say the lowering of CPI is causing the Walmarts to grow. That's an equally untestable, unprovable statement. Doesn't make any more or less sense, though. And then I read even further, and I caught this. Go ahead and catch this. Go ahead and catch this last little bit. It was hidden at the bottom of the report. So all of that expensive CPI inflation that they're talking about in those urban centers with fewer Walmarts, almost 90% of it can be explained by these 3 things. Variation in unemployment rate, high wage industry employment share, and electricity price growth. What does Walmart contribute to those 3 things? Well, right, but overall, compared to the entire MSA, the MSA is the city. They call it, I forget what MSA stands for. It's like the city, San Diego, Portland, Philadelphia, and so forth and so on. What they're saying is 90% of this variation isn't even explained by anything Walmart has to do with. Which makes me question even more, why are they putting this in a Walmart commercial? You see what I'm getting at, friends?
Looks good.
Of course it looks good.
How many people are actually going to care to go through all this to figure it out? They just hear they save money and go for it.
Me and maybe you now. I don't know. I guess that's the point of my class is I'm trying to give you the questions to ask. It's funny because statistics is so often shown as a way to prove something. I'm going to win this argument by proving this something with statistics. I view it as a little different thing. You're showing me a statistic, that makes me ask questions. Really? Here's something else, another question that came up. Here's another question that came up. There's their claim, right? can you define for me, there's no laser on this.
The average American family.
Can you tell me what the average American family is?
I'm gonna
It
think
depends
four.
on region.
For what? For people.
Four people.
Describe them.
Mom, dad, and 2 kids.
Mom, dad, 2 kids.
But what if they have a dog?
What if they have a dog?
It's dog food, it's adding to your cost.
Okay, I'm not talking about that anymore. I forget the $3,100. That's out to lunch anymore. I've claimed that's statistically insignificant. I want to know now what the average American family is. I got to vote for 4 people. 1990 U.S. Census, average number of children per family? 2.5. 2.5. What does that mean?
2.5 kids.
What does that mean? Like not grossly, not like King Solomon Lee.
Between 2 and 3.
It means out of every 10 families, there's 25 kids scattered throughout those 10. Right? So between 2 and 3, say 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, that averages 2.5. Or 4 and 1, things like that. So if you were to average them out, you get to 2.5, the 2.5 children per family. Good. But again, average American how many of you heard a phrase like that? The average man, the average woman, the average child, the average school kid, the average senator, you ever stop to wonder what that is? You ever get an image in your mind, or do you not? Maybe you don't. Maybe you're like, yeah, whatever, I hear it all the time. You become numb to it, right? I hear it all the time. Well, hell, you got to talk about what that is. What is it? You can make it a claim. There's a numerical part of this claim and then a qualitative part of this claim. I want to attack them both today. And I want to use. Oh, please, Trey, go.
So, go back to your little picture there.
Oh, this one here? It's not mine. I'm not claiming that
The
thing.
Walmart.
I spelled San Diego right. No, this one here.
No, the next one.
This one.
So,
Go back to the picture.
The receipt,
Oh, this.
the actual picture.
I
Yeah,
got
so why is it 3,100 there, 2,500 on the right?
Different
2,500
years.
on the left? It's-
Different years, each one's a different year. And I guess Global Insight, I only found one report, and it was this one tied to this one. I didn't find these two.
Okay.
Probably because once they realized how wrong that was, they pulled the other ones off. I haven't tried to find it since. Maybe they've retracted them all. I do find that from time to time. I'll go find data, pull it down, analyze it, I go back and look for it again, and it's gone. So it could be that people begin to realize some stuff out there is absolute garbage. And utter garbage. Much like the bison stampeding through Yellowstone with the imminent volcanic eruption in Yellowstone. It's like, people, like, read. Please, read something. Read anything about buffalo and Yellowstone and animal behavior. But anyway, that's another story for another time. What I want to do is I want to start attacking this through data. Here's the data we collected last